Hello, welcome to Pause for Education on Amin Right TV. In this discussion, we are looking at simple ways to control a noisy classroom. As new teachers, or even as practicing teachers, sometimes we are faced with a very and in fact an old situation or practice in our schools, that is a noisy classroom. A noisy classroom. It's normal to have this situation, but how do we do it? How do we control that? How do we prevent it? How do we minimize its effect? There are two main methods that we normally use. Now, the first one is when children are shouting or making noise, then we too we tend to shout. So if they are shouting, then we too say, keep quiet, stop talking. Now the effect of this on us is that it will help us sometimes suffocate, and we have to look for water to solve our situation, or sometimes we lose our voice. And how will you feel as a teacher if you lose your voice in the middle of a lesson or when you are teaching the next lesson? Another effect of this practice is that children will now learn to believe that the one who makes the loudest noise is the winner. So now when they want to make noise, they will increase the volume because they know that you are going to make noise to stop them. So they want, since they've learned that the noisiest person is always the winner, they will also tend to make noise, more noise. So you will keep on shouting. Now, the other method we tend to use in such situation is to ask the children to go out or to kneel down. Yes. This may help for some time, but the truth is that it is not an effective practice. What then should you do as a teacher if you have a noisy classroom, since all these methods I've mentioned is not the best? Now, the first method to use to solve a noisy classroom situation is one for you to remain silent. You should remain silent looking at the learners or the children. So when you remain silent, something will tell them there's something wrong. So you remain silent and you are looking at them. Some teachers will tend to fold their arms and be looking at them. So this will send a signal to them that, hey, our teacher doesn't like what is going on. So we have to stop. We have to stop the noise. So you see, this, you didn't suffer, you didn't do any work, you just remain silent, and they also remain silent. The next thing we can do to stop a noisy class or to reduce a noisy the rate of a noisy class is to explain first to learners the effect of making noise in the classroom. You have to allow learners to understand why they shouldn't make noise in the classroom. So they will understand that making noise will affect other learners in an adjacent class or in a class close by, or it may even affect other people in the class who are not making noise. A noisy class tends to reduce instructional hours or totally affect instructional hours. And learners who are noisy in class most of the time tend to forget what has just been taught. So when you allow learners to understand this and many more, it will help them not to make noise, or it will reduce the noise volume in your classroom. The next thing you can do to prevent or reduce noise in your class is by showing your disapproval, or showing disapproval to what learners are doing. Here, you can ask them, is it beneficial, this noise you are making? How would this noise help us in our classroom? How will it help us in our teaching and learning situation? What are you talking about? So you see, all these questions will help the learners to know that you are actually showing disapproval in what they are doing. So these and many more are some of the things we can do as teachers to reduce noise in our classroom. Don't forget to drop your comment, don't forget to share, don't forget to subscribe to this channel for more educational information.